Well, hello. We are back again with another episode of Light Skin. We on 15 now, Trey. 15.
I mean, y'all do know I was born September 15th, so
Really?
this works for me.
Well, today ain't
On the
September
15th.
15th, but we gonna pretend it is.
But it's
Happy
May 15th,
birthday.
so yeah.
We still got our trusty mugs. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing in them, but just let you know if you want to buy one, 88. We got them. So we are here with. You can introduce yourself.
My name is Shaquana McIntyre Jones.
Mm-hmm. One of the GOATs in Duluth, and we had to have her on. We've done some work in the past, and she does a lot of things just around here in the community, for the community. But also Kentrell's auntie, you know what I mean? Family, we get them all on.
Yeah.
We get them all on. So let's start from the beginning.
Ooh.
Baby Shaquana, day one. Talk about
Fresh out, first day out.
Fresh look, boom.
Look, first day out.
Where I'm at.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was driving at 14. My mother was 15 when she had me.
Okay.
I was born in Gary, Indiana, in 1980. And truth be told, is like I have no idea what it looked like because my mother told me I was a mute and I was a cabbage patch, which is so funny because I talk so much now.
Yeah.
Like I talk a lot now. Like I got all the words. But yeah, I think I was probably a pain in my mom's tail. I mean, 15-year raising a child. Yeah, I probably was a pain.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we see that now with a lot of our young mothers. You know, and it's like it ain't the kid's fault; it's the parents still trying to learn to try to switch over from that kid aspect to being a parent now. So,
and the reality is that when a parent has a child at a young age, my belief, when a parent has a child at a young age, it is equivalent to a parent or an adult or a young person using drugs. Their brain freezes. And until they go through the healing and the process that they need, they don't have the opportunity to grow. So it doesn't matter how many books you read. You actually have to change your brain. And when you're in poverty, there are no tools to help you change your brain because you're too busy being in survival mode.
No,
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. I never heard it explained that way, but it's relatable and makes sense.
Most definitely. You said you were driving at 14?
Driving. So listen, I stole my mama's car.
Get into it.
I stole my mama's car, and if she ever hear this story, she was gonna be like, she finally told the truth. That lying child. I knew she lied. Okay, look, I stole my mom's car. My mom started teaching me how to drive at 14, 15, right? So we go back home to Gary. She had a Ford. I don't know what it was, a Ford Taurus or something, 4-door cream. I'm trying to be cool for the kids on the block. Okay, we're in front of my cousin's house. I take the keys. My mama was gone. I ran over the bushes. Okay,
That's crazy.
I almost hit my sister. Reversed away from the bushes and used the tape to tape the bushes up.
Oh, to make them up like
To
that.
make
That's
just
you know how
Scotch
crazy
tape.
that.
Scotch
And
tape.
it was see-through, so you might have not even seen it from the. Yeah.
I've been clever my whole life.
Yeah, look. And she still don't know the bushes was dead to this day.
Oh no, they knew. I got my tail showed up.
But
My cousin came home because she was an older cousin. She came home. She said, "What happened to my bushes?" I'm like, "How did she see that?" I was like, "Cause she's short. Short people see stuff closer to the ground." Boy, I got my butt toe up. But yeah, I started driving when I was a really young age. My first time driving long term was I was 16 and we were driving from Minnesota to Duluth. No, from Duluth to Gary, Indiana. We were moving back home.
Okay.
Through Chicago traffic at 16. Who
So-
does that?
16 is crazy.
That is crazy. All right, so you was born in Gary. All right, tell me about life growing up, and then how did you get from Gary to Duluth?
Ooh, okay. Y'all got tissues? Okay. So back in the day, safe haven and transitional, I'm saying that wrong, but basically women who were in domestic violence situations, they had the underground railroad type setup where they would move women who were in severe domestic violence relationships from one city and we would go shelter to shelter. So my 6th grade year, I was probably enrolled in 8 schools.
Oh, damn.
Because we went from Gary to Valparaiso to this other little town, then this other little spot, and then they got us here to Duluth. So that's how we got here.
Wow, okay.
And then I went to school at Condon, Ordine, and East.
Okay.
my mother was like, "Look, you ain't going to Central. That's where all the black kids was." She was like, "If I wanted you at Central, we could have stayed your black tail back there. So you gonna go out here with the young racists, okay? You gonna learn some stuff, and you gonna get your life together." So that's what I did. I went to school to East, and then by my 11th grade year, I remember looking at my mom like, "If you don't get me out of here, I'm gonna drop out." And I was an AB honor roll student. I was like, I can't take it. I was fat. I was poor. My hair was nappy. I was tired of being petted like a pet. Like I was just sick of it. So I ended up actually going back to Gary on my 11th grade year and graduating from the Wallace.
And that when you were 16 when you drove back, as you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What was the transition like? Obviously, we know what it was from coming to Gary to here, but being here and then going back to Gary. That's
a beast. That's a beast because I never forget going from, because you learn different language, right? Now once you've been a part of different cultures, Gary it was very black, right? The leaders were black, the teachers were black. Like I didn't know I was black until I moved to Duluth, Minnesota. Like I didn't know that. Like I didn't even know there was a thing. It was like I knew white people, but I didn't know I was black. And knowing that you're black comes with a whole different connotation of understanding of how the world sees you. So going back, them Negroes, they reminded me I wasn't black.
Now you're not black enough.
No, you ain't black enough. Like, yo, what you say? Like, what? Yeah.
Like, even down to the things that I would cook. Like, I'll never forget my auntie saying to me once, I'm going to do laundry. To this day, I'm 43 years old, y'all. That word laundry pisses my auntie off.
Really?
Do y'all hear me? My favorite auntie, love her to death. She was like, "You mean you washing?" I said, "No, because I gotta wash and dry, auntie. If I'm only washing,
then I'm gonna say I'm about to wash.
I'm washing, but I gotta dry." So that's an argument that has continued throughout my life since because of that one word. She's like, "You think you better?" I'm like, "No, I'm just saying I'm doing both.
Because we call it laundry,
bro.
This is real conversation. Real. We've had these plenty of times.
This is real, like real stuff. So. But more importantly, I felt like an outcast among my peers. I still at times feel like an outcast among my peers because one, I'm old. Like I have an old soul, so I've listened to old school music my whole life. Like I did the record players. I'm just an old school person, and my values are different. And so even going back at that age, I struggled. And my only outlet was sex. Which is how I got my first kid. So by the time I was in 12th grade, I only needed 2 credits, but I was pregnant. And the principal was a pervert on his own. That's a different story. But his thing was, no, you're going to come to school all day anyway. So I had to sit in the office and work for free because I was around white people. He's like, you're going to put the education to use up in here. You're going to help these secretaries do this work and you're going to get credit. I'm like, you show up. You just learn to show up.
So... From high school, okay, you graduated now. What was your thoughts? Did you feel like you wanted to stay in Gary, or did you feel like you wanted to come back to Duluth? Like, what was kind of the move around and your process of, all right, this is what I want to do now, for myself?
And what were your peers doing in Gary at the time?
I had no peers. I was still an outcast. I can't tell you one person name I graduated with.
Really?
That's crazy.
I graduated in 1999. I don't know one person name I've graduated with.
That's wild.
Like I've never gone back to a reunion. No, I didn't have peers. Like school for me was a job. It was always get it in, get it done, and that's how I've lived my life: get it in, get it done. So I didn't have peers. I have no idea what they were doing. The only thing we had in common was I was having adolescent sex, right? Premature adolescent sex. But to answer your question, what got me? I had a baby. And I had that lifestyle of going into the grocery store to steal food. I was doing that at 8 years old. I've been frying chicken since I was 7. So I knew having a kid, if I came back to Duluth, the worst thing that could happen is I was going to focus. I wanted to go to the Navy. That's what I was scheduled to. I was going to the Navy. I did ROTC, all of that. My first traveling experience, my first time being on a plane was me getting on a plane to go to Florida with NJROTC up here in Duluth. So I was headed to the Navy. What stopped it is that they told me I would have had to sign over my rights to my child, to my mother.
Yeah, that wasn't happening.
It wasn't
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
going.
Ain't
I wasn't
nobody
doing
giving
it.
them no kids.
I wasn't doing it. And for you to wake up and be yelling at me like my mama been yelling at me my whole life, I'm good. I'm gonna just go ahead and figure it out. So I knew I could come back to Duluth and at least get an education.
Yep.
And the plan coming back to Duluth was I'll get my AA degree and then move on to Seattle.
Okay.
That was the plan.
Okay.
God does like to laugh.
All right. So what actually happened then?
Which part do you want to know? You want the professional part?
No,
Which one?
no. We talk on here. We
What you wanna know?
Talk to us.
I was in a relationship and it was we can't cuss on here.
Yeah.
can we?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a shitty relationship. I had a poor low self-esteem. I was obese. Like all I knew is that I wanted to be a housewife and a mom and I wanted to run a business. I thought I was going to run a daycare business. The kid's dad was going to go to work and come to find out this Negro on the streets in Duluth feeling cute because he black in Duluth and you know how that works. He was telling everybody I was his sister, helping him take care of his single kids.
That is.
Because I wasn't going. I'm not an outside person.
Yeah.
People still to this day can't say Shaquana been outside in the streets. Like I go out, but so because I was an in-house woman, right? I was an industry woman, not an in the street woman. I happened to go outside.
For all y'all young girls, make sure y'all catch that.
Catch it.
Catch that.
Catch it.
The entendre, the
You gotta
double
give it space
entendre.
to breathe.
But you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go
like,
ahead.
like there's a difference. Like you can be an in the street woman, or you can be an industry woman. And I made that decision when I heard Foxy Brown say that.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, that's who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna find an industry. And at the time, I didn't have an industry. The only lane I knew was that I was gonna be a better parent than what I experienced.
Yep.
That's what I knew. But then I decided one summer, I'm like, I'm tired of being in the house. I'm going ahead and getting these
We
young
going
streets.
outside.
I'm going outside. I'm for the streets. You know, I'm for the streets
Hot
this
girl,
week.
hot girl.
I was on some hot girl stuff. Sorry, man. Sorry. I was trying to
Try
get
on
out
need to
there.
know.
Joe, I got you. I got you, Joe.
Pop up kids. I did it for y'all. No, I had to get outside because within that first year after I had my son, Kaheem, I gained 100 pounds.
Okay.
So I was dealing with depression and all kind of stuff. And then I'm in a situation and I'm not understanding, had never been in a real relationship before. So I get outside and men start talking. Because they're now trying to figure out this mystery woman that nobody ever sees.
The sister.
The sister. Like who is this sister? Why can't we have, because ain't nobody bringing nobody to the crib. Like I don't have party houses like that, but whatever. I get out and that's what I heard. Like, oh, I thought you was his sister.
Confused. Huh?
I'm taken aback. The things I've done, I would have did that with my brother. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, I got out, and then once I got out and I started learning what was being said about me, I had to switch the game up.
Yep.
I had to shit on people.
That Gary came out.
The Gary came out. Yeah, I had to switch the game up because what you know about me and what you believe about me versus what I show you are all three different things. And I guarantee you, who you experience when you experience me, you're going to either experience three things. You're going to experience God first, Pam's child first, or you're going to get to experience Shaquana.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know which one's scarier.
I don't either some days.
Yeah, we
Some
don't.
days.
Hopefully it's God.
I try to
God's
tell
child.
people.
Get that one.
I be trying to tell people, I'd rather you experience God through me than you experience the ignorant Shaquana. Because at any point in time, I could be ignorant, and I pray daily, and I work on it daily because at the end of the day, don't play in my face.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm telling you, I be having to catch myself, and I grew up how I grew up in Jersey, like tough stuff, and then, moved over to the family that took me, an all-white family, and learned a lot from them. But that street part of me, that hood part, it'll never go anywhere,
Right.
And every now and again, I have to catch myself, like, somebody say something out of pocket or whatever, and it's like, all right, Paige, chill, don't even, because I know what I can do, you know what I mean? But is that who I want to be? Because I don't care what other people think. I really don't, like how they view. But it's like, all right, I set myself up to be this person, this role model, professional, industry person,
But that person you set yourself up for, that person you almost have to intimately know that person so well,
True.
so that anytime something comes, that person is going to be tested, because it's not your truest nature. It's who you chose to be.
Exactly.
When your truest nature is being tested, that's easy.
Yeah.
I can be a fool everywhere, anywhere,
any
right?
moment.
But the woman I chose to be, when I chose God first, that's who get tested the most. I tell people, I just had a dream the other day, and in my dream I heard a guardian angel say, "Remember the red mantis." And that message, so my dreams come to me as preparation for the next day. So I am like, my dreams are like movies. Most people dream in black and white. I dream in movies. Like, I'll be like, okay, locked in. Like, she go out and do okay, boom, boom, boom. I write it down because I got to remember. And when I had that dream, remember the red mantis, I woke up like, remember the red mantis. Now I'm Googling it. Now I'm trying to figure out what is a red mantis, only to find out it's a praying mantis. The praying mantis, you look up what the spiritual meaning of it is, keep your eye on God. I said, oh, somebody about to test me. Somebody is coming to test me. It's going to be one of them days. So I said, okay. And of course, it's way after the fact they tested me. And I'm like, the whole time, remember the praying mantis. And I texted, and then I delete. And I'm like, Jesus, you see my flesh. Yep. You see me trying. So it's who we choose to be that get tested most, not who we are at our truest nature.
Yeah. No,
I think that's the most one of the most interesting things about being black, just the dichotomy of fighting between those two sides of us. Because especially when you had that experience of being in Duluth in your adolescence, so what type of things that you take from there that help you through your day-to-day life every day?
Remember to be true. It don't, like you said, it don't matter what people say about you, but it do. Because it tests your gangster.
It's an old phrase, so people don't use that no more.
It tests your gangster, but I have to remember the things that test my gangster, I can't bring in the boardroom. You know what I mean? And the things that test my gangster, because the people in the boardroom don't understand that.
Then it's aggression.
They don't understand that. And so for me, it's vitally important that I show up so peaceful. If I'm not showing up goofy, run. If I'm not coming in the room dancing as soon as I come, run. I've learned, and I had learned that about myself, because at the end of the day, if I am putting myself in a position where I can't be happy and goofy, because that's who I am in my truest nature, I'm on guard. And if I'm on guard, I'm not.
Ain't nobody safe.
Ain't nobody safe.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Nobody's safe, because now everybody's suspect.
And even when they ain't got no reason to be,
and you're all suspect.
We just don't know yet.
It's suspect, and what's more difficult in that is when I'm watching these young girls, and I said it years ago. I was a child protection social worker here in Duluth for many years, right? And more often than not, Black women are moving to Duluth to raise their children in a safe environment, and they're losing their mind within the first year, and therefore losing custody of their children. And I think that's because most often where they come from, they've held it together so long that once they're in a safe, quiet place, they buckle. But then they buckle where they have no support. Right? And then on the flip side of that, I'm looking at these young girls, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, carrying the burdens of their broken mother's relationships. Hating men when they ain't got no reason to hate a man, even if they father not around. But that's because they're carrying their mother's broken relationships. So things that pushes me forward, and the things that I've learned that gets me through my day-to-day, is that I have to do it different. I have to be a better example. And I am a firm believer in you apologize to kids. Slow down, shut up, and apologize to kids. Because at the end of the day, kids are not kids in the sense of what we see them as. Kids are small people going through the same struggles and triumphs that you are going through, yet they don't have a voice and they're not respected.
I agree with that.
That's why we was having this conversation not too long ago of, I hear the phrase of like, oh, that's a bad kid or this, and I'm thinking, you have to understand where they come from and who they were raised by. And it's not throwing a shot at the parent or anything, but we pass down what we know, what we were taught, and, the things we saw, how people responded to things, whether physically, emotionally, whatever, and if the parents aren't reached, we we deal with kids a lot, and one thing we try to do, and that we've been getting better at, is getting the parents involved, because we know we have these kids for X amount of hours a day. When they go home, then we got to start over the next day. How can we in that start over point where it's just, all right, we taught them this lesson, now we working off of this lesson, now they got these two down, now we on lesson 3, so you have to get the parent involved in a way where they want to give these lessons to their children as well, even outside of us. And I mean, me and my brother, grew up just single mom, and it was hard for my mom trying to raise these 2 young black men that looked up to the only black men we saw either sold drugs or, hustlers, gangbangers, stuff like that. And
or is that the only, or I'll challenge that, or is that the only men that you saw physically because the other ones weren't relevant?
Well, so that's what I was getting to. The other people seem corny. Yeah. And that's what I was going to get to. So it ain't like they weren't around, because, I mean, I look back now and think, oh, man, I forgot he was around. We ain't paying no attention to him because it didn't look like he had what we were chasing after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that's almost every culture. We ignore sometimes the people that we should be focusing on because we trying to chase the world and materialistic things and like that, So what appealed to us, I'll use that word then, what appealed to us was the hood fame, and this hood fame everywhere. And I think that's why a lot of people, when they move from the hood, they're afraid to go into a suburban type area or place that's not inner city, because we feel comfortable here. This is what we know, but not thinking about, hey, we can learn a lot from, just getting away a little bit, and being a little, I don't know if I want to use the word trusting, but open. Let's say that, being more open and receptive to what else is out there.
People don't want to be challenged.
Nah.
I think that's the issue, is people don't want to be challenged. And that is an attractive trait to me. Challenge me. Because I know there's more to me, but I can't get to more unless I'm being challenged. One of the hardest, I will tell you this. Invite all 4 of my children to the table and interview them. All of them. The older 3 will tell you way different stories. And I know the stories they'll tell because I'm not afraid to have the conversations with my kids. Right? Versus my youngest child, who was never raised on food stamps, was never living in the projects, who never had to take a city bus, right? She think it's like, Mama, can we take the bus? And my other daughter like, no, we can't take the bus. Like,
say no adventure. Chill out, cuz.
Like real stuff, my kids be like, what is wrong with her?
He's not at all.
We was in the car.
Like my kids like
saying, do we have to take the bus today?
Right, like it's real, but she think it's an adventure at 8 years old. She has such a different version of me.
Yep.
But because she gets to have a different version of me, I'm grateful that my older children, that I still have relationship with them enough to where I can also have a different relationship and they can have a different version of me. And then it took for someone to come into my life, right? After decades of being single, it took for someone to come in my life to challenge my guilty parenting. And I never saw it as guilty parenting. I just seen it as I'm doing what needs to be done, not spoiling them, but doing what needs to be done because I became addicted to work. Because I never watched my parents work. Not my mom, not my dad, my stepdad, yes, but that was temporarily because of their addictions. But so I became addicted to work and providing and forgetting the nurturing responsibility as a woman. And so inviting someone into my life that challenged that mentality of, you're not just a provider, you're still a woman, you're still a mother, they still need this version of you. And I know it's there because I see it, but you do it temporarily. So then I was forced to I'm getting back to you have to put yourself in situations to be challenged by your people. And if your people are not challenging you, they are really doing you more harm than they're doing you any good.
Yep, no, that's true.
And is he the mystery man? We just
yeah, we're gonna keep it at that.
Is he the next chapter after Brother Man?
No.
Sister.
It was a few in between.
So
that's decades
I feel
later.
like that's important because a lot of people think that it's like that. Like you just don't meet the next.
That was,
person,
oh
and
my
it's,
God,
oh my
no,
God,
that was, yeah, thank you for
happily
saying that.
ever after.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't
Disney.
exist.
No, that don't exist, and it still don't exist even in it. But no, that was decades later, because even after I left that situation at 21, 22, I still kept effing up. Like, and not because I had low self-esteem, but because I tell people all the time, I can see the physical in you, but I communicate and conversate with the spiritual version of you more than I see the physical. Because it's not even just about the good in you, because I see the evils in you too. But because I know God on the level that I know God, I want to bring that out in you, just like somebody brought it out in me. So I'm gonna play with your demons.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel like I play with people's demons more than I play with their good side,
How
because
scary
it's like,
that is.
yeah, I'll play with your demons before. And then when I get bored, I'll stop playing with your demons, and then I'll set you aside. But I like playing with people's demons because I know I'm a demon slayer. I know I have the ability to fight the devil on every cost. Every time I wake up, like I wake up and I'm fighting the devil. I sit up in my bed. First thing I say is, "So what we doing today, devil?" Because I want to prove God to be true. And the only way to prove God to be true is to let the devil test you. It says it in the Bible. Job was God's most trusted, and God said, "Go test him." And I want to be God's most tested, so I'm gonna play with your demons. I'm gonna play with your demons, and then I'm gonna laugh in your face because now I done defeated your demons, and now you exhausted because you couldn't fight them, and now I done picked the fight, and now I'm about to go win it, and then I'm gonna go home and go to bed and get some rest. And then I'm gonna wake up and be like, "What we doing today?" I'm gonna play with your demons, and I'm gonna show you where you're going wrong at, because the greatest issue that most people have in fighting their demons is that they don't acknowledge their demons.
Their own.
They don't acknowledge their demons, and it's like, let's play. Let's sit at the table. Let's play cards. Let's play, because you can't play with God's kids, and we all God's kids, right? I don't care how bad we done messed up in life. We all God's kids. So, as a mother, I don't know nothing but to do as mother, right? I have a housing program of fathers that I house, and I literally had to hire somebody else to step in because they was calling on me so much like a mom and an auntie, and I'm like, wait, no, this ain't working. So I'm calling my phone. I'm not your woman. I'm not like I'm your landlord, but I'm a mother first, and that's what comes out of me is me being a mother, which is why I congratulate y'all for working with the kids, because I can't work with kids.
Yeah, no, they fair.
You got to be strong-willed to be working with kids, because I've been turned into somebody's mom and somebody's auntie, and now I got HIPAA issues.
You feel? Listen, we waiting on our call.
I don't want the problem. So.
Trust me. All right, since you brought this up now, take us into how Family Rise Together came about. How did that start? Because I don't even know that story, I really want to hear, you alluded to, working with the men and stuff like that. So
I was a child protection social worker, and I'm a firecracker. Let's just say that. Okay. My mother's always said, I've been a pyro my whole life. I set fires. It's just by the grace of God, I've never been put in jail. But my mother always told me, either you dim your light or your light will control you, right? Your fire will control you. So I became a child protection social worker, got off welfare, finally got off welfare. You would have thought I'd been excited for that $20-some an hour. I was. I'm going to be honest, y'all. I was excited for that $20-some an hour. But I like to play with people demons, and the system is full of demons. They full of broken women who got the same story. Too many of them have broken relationships with their fathers, and you know who they are about how they work with people and how they work with men. And then you throw on top of that, we in a city where black men come into this community, sell drugs, make babies, make these biracial children disappear. These white women have no idea how to take care of these children, and then they end up in the system. And now the system is their mama, right? So there was a case where there was a dad who I was in child protection services doing investigations at this time. And a case came in where this father, a black man, called in, made a report. And he's like, I'm concerned about my kids, but I'm also concerned about the mother of my children. She's pregnant. I think she's using meth. And I think she's in an abusive relationship. So he makes this report. Long story short, we screen it in. It gets to me. And so I go and I meet with dad. I do the rigmarole. Like I do the checklist. I do all the things. And I couldn't find a mom to give her a drug test. I couldn't, whatever. So long story short, I ended up getting in contact with the mom. The kids was placed with dad while we figured things out because there was a bruise on the child's back this big.
Damn.
And this baby wasn't no more than like 4 or 5, maybe 6, if I'm remembering correctly. It was a big bruise. And it was a biracial child. Mind you, this is a black father. So it showed, right? This wasn't one of those, it was bad enough. And so because the dad made the report legally, when you're in child protection services, you have a responsibility to engage the mom, the father, and the extended family, right? Whenever possible. And so because the dad made the report, I did my background check, I did all the things, and I placed the kid with the dad. We go into court, and the judge said, no, the kids can't be with you. They need to go to their grandma's house, or they need to go into foster care. Now, mind you, again, I did my background check. He was charged, never convicted. Be very clear in this. He was charged, never convicted. And because he was charged, the judge said the kids can't be with him, even though he was the one who was calling in and concerned about his kids. Wild. That fire set off in me. And I couldn't contain it. Mind you, I was a single parent, fresh off welfare, and I walked into my supervisor's office and I said I quit. And he was like, whoa.
Back it up.
Slow down, because I know what you done been through. I know how much you sacrificed to get here. Because all while I was getting my master's, I was a intern at St. Louis County.
Okay.
So I have a master's that I graduated from UMD, and I have a background in substance abuse that I got certified through Fond du Lac College. I've graduated from every college here except for St. Scholastica.
Okay.
So because I wanted to be marketable, you don't have to do that to be marketable. I'll teach that later. But long story short, he was like, no, I think you need a sabbatical. I don't want you to quit. I'm going to hold your job for you. You've been under a lot of stress. And I know this was hard for you because you advocate for fathers. Like, they should be advocated for. And I went on sabbatical and I went back on welfare. And I went and moved into a 1-bedroom apartment in Texas that my cousin was paying for. Like, no money, back on welfare. My kids looking at me like I'm crazy because I had just promised that things was going to start getting better. And I just prayed and I said, God, I need you to show me. And the apartment complex we lived in had a very nice computer room that I made my personal office. And I built Family Rise Together.
That's dope.
Originally, it was Fathers Rise Together, but because funders don't rock with fathers, I had to change it to Family Rise Together. His mom, my sister in Christ and business partner, financial manager, was like, you got to change the name. And for like 2 years, I was stubborn. I'm like, F that. Like, they need to see fathers, not just black fathers, fathers in general. Like, but they didn't. And the day, I am not kidding y'all, within the month of me changing it from fathers to family, I got $50,000. Everything up to there, I had been putting my own money in. And I had been like going broke, had to file bankruptcy because I was building this organization because I wanted to focus on fathers. My biggest thing is that we have fathers out here making babies for a place to live.
Literally.
Let's talk about
literally.
it. We got fathers out here becoming stepdaddies and subjecting themselves to mental, emotional, physical, financial abuse from women. Not because they less than, but because they can't get housed.
And the services is...
And ain't no services. Ain't nothing that's here in our community that serves fathers alone. And so I was just like, as a society in the United States, we pour billions into women, into mothers. I'm a recipient of it. I appreciate it. God forbid that it ever went away. However, what they're not speaking to is the exhaustion that mothers are having. If anybody watching the news, how many women are killing their kids today that we've seen before previously?
It's wild. Yeah, it is. It's wild.
Women are exhausted. We're tired. But yet we putting fathers in prison and putting them on medication. Women are Black women can't even get the medication they need to deal with their mental health. All while Black men, because they are feared and they're afraid. People are afraid of them. Their stature, their skin, their knowledge, their education, their lack of education, their strength. They'll put them on lorazepam while mothers are losing their mind and baking their kids in ovens.
Yep, that's wild. It really is. That's a crazy thing to think about because even we have a lot of kids right now, young girls that's pregnant, and that's started off, with the father strong. And the thing is, they go to apply for different services together or things like that, and they won't give them nothing. And then they start resenting each other. Like, you need to get a job, you ain't shit, and this and that. And then the father drop out of school to try to work. Now he ain't shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, hold up, let's back.
Y'all forgot.
We had to, you told me we had to do this to take care of the baby. Now I'm making money, spending the only bit I got to do this. But now that you're single, you can go apply for these services. Now you in the crib, but the dad is homeless. And it's like, we think about this. This is stuff we talk about daily, and we meet with places like LSS or whatever, or try to call and say, listen, I have a mother and a father together trying to do the right thing. You know, well, we only house mothers here. We don't have anything. And I'm like,
it's like,
that's crazy to me.
Because, listen, what y'all should be teaching those young girls, all the girls that y'all are connected to that's pregnant right now, go buy them the book Willie Lynch Letter.
Willie Lynch Letter.
Go buy it. Go get it. And if you want some, I got copies.
All right, yeah.
But have them read that, because societal, let me tell you something. The fabric of the United States is built on the blueprint economically of the slave trade. Mm-hmm. That's what we're dealing with. Let's just put it out there. Slavery was not about racism. Mm-hmm. It was about money. Mm-hmm. It always has. It always will be. However, because it is our people, they were enslaved. They weren't slaves. Mm-hmm. They were doctors. They were mothers. They were doctors. They were nurses. All the things, but they were enslaved because of the money factor. Yep. You want to teach those young girls, you want to change their mindset, go get a social work book that teaches why the families had to be broken up in order to get welfare. That was a systematic process to break families up. But it goes far back to how slavery, black women were used to raise their daughters while protecting their sons. They give you a full illustration on, because she, as a black women historically have known to lean on our black men more than any group of women in the world, right? But because of enslavement, they had to break the black man, and they forced the wife to sit and watch him be beaten, tarred, raped, tied to horses, beaten, tied again. And what did she do? She had to listen to her enslaver talk into her ear about, you better do right by me by protecting your kids, or I'm gonna do your son the same way, and I'm gonna rape your daughter like I raped you. This ain't it's in the Willie Lynch Letter. There are 9 principles in the Willie Lynch Letter, and the first thing they say is be careful of the language. Don't teach them the language, because the moment you teach them the language, they know the formula.
Wow. Teach
the girls why wealth, that is systematic. It is purely systematic. It's the same way when child protection services, a mother loses custody of the kid, the father is punished the same way. He has to now work a plan to get the kid back, and he could have been 2,000 miles away. In the service trying to provide, because mom has lost her mind and whooped the kids or didn't take them to school or whatever the situation was. And now the father has to work a plan, and because of the system, fathers are more likely to walk away than to say, because he's like, I didn't do this. Why I got to do all this extra work? Why I needed a psychological evaluation? Why you need me to do a UA? I ain't have nothing to do with it. It's systematic. So you want to break that system? Teach them.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, there's a case that sticks out to me, and it was here in Duluth, and Trey will remember this, and I ain't gonna say the kid's name because we can't, but I got a call from DPD saying, hey, we gotta go to the house where these youth live, and we gotta remove the kid, and we don't want it to be a big deal, but we were just told this is what we have to do. Can you come kind of help with the situation? So, all right, so I went over there, and the mom had overdosed on Christmas, and that's why they had to take the kid. But the dad was working, take care of the kid and everything, and trying to get the mom into rehab. I mean, setting up all her appointments, everything. So they went over and they went to remove the kid. But the first question I said, why can't the kid stay with the dad
and make mom leave?
He got a place now, like that he's paying rent for. He's actively working. He is doing therapy and everything right now too. And I said, so why can't, what's the issue with that? I'm talking to the social worker there, and they said, well, that's something we got to cross down the road. I said, honestly, this can be a very simple fix. I don't know why now we're totally breaking up the family. You know, if the mom want to get in rehab, I think that's one thing, but you know, don't remove the kid from the home. So blah blah. They wanted to go in. I said no, I'll go in. So I went in and I talked to him. I said, listen, we're gonna figure out what to do, but I don't want them to bombard you here because I already know how you are as well, and I don't want it. I don't want your actions from this to be an excuse now why you can't even see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we was able
because their people aren't allowed to be emotional.
exactly. Yep. So I went and grabbed the kid, got the baby out, and I said, all right, we're going to set up these appointments, you know, where the mom and dad can visit the kid together.
Mm-hmm.
They said, oh no, we want to have separate visits. I said, that doesn't make sense.
It does.
Why would you set this up to now where the kid is only seeing mom and she can visit for 2 hours, they give the dad 30 minutes once a week, and the mom can come every day. I said, this is wild. This is insane when we have it's systematic. It really is. Mm-hmm. And we talk about all the time. I said, bro, it honestly feels like they want this to fail. Mm-hmm. No matter what. The hood, I'm gonna say this. The hood been the hood 50 years ago, is gonna be the hood in 50 years. No matter what we doing, we gonna work like we gonna save the world. That's how we gonna operate. I promise you that. No matter what, we know though for sure if we have the real conversation, we're not powerful enough, and we'll probably never sit in those chairs that makes these decisions to keep families split apart. You know, and cause a drive, especially in black households, inner city households, where the father is not present, not because he don't want to be, but because he's not allowed to be, and they forcing that away. You know, it is so wild when you really just look at how things are set up. But
the weird thing is that it's not set up like that. Read the laws. I'll bring you the mandate paperwork. Mm-hmm. I'll show you it's all public. Mm-hmm. It's public. You can go right on DHS website. You can look up what is mandate reporters. You can look up what is the screening criteria for screening in cases. It's all public. Mm-hmm. The reality is that it's based on the judgment of the social worker who has the power and the authority to make the decision about a child's and a family's life. Hmm. Families' experience with social services is based off of the relationship or based off of what social worker they get. You get a social worker who got a healthy relationship with their daddy and see what it looks like versus a social worker who got a shitty relationship with their father. You get a social worker who has a shitty relationship with their mother and has a great relationship with their father. You see the difference.
It makes sense. I mean,
that's interesting.
We have kids, granted we can't say, but we've just been wondering, like, why has nothing been done? Mm-hmm. Why? Like, we've seen them go through the ups and downs of just being on drugs and family encouraging it, and they're still with that family, and their family still has some type of influence on this youth. Mm-hmm. But from what you're saying, it just seems like who's ever getting that.
It's personal.
It's personal.
That's wild.
It's lack of healing. It's lack of healing. And so for me, before I built Family Rise Together, I feel like God sent me to Texas. At first, long time ago, I would say God sent me there because I needed to build Family Rise Together. And no, God said, you got to go get healing because you broke. Mm-hmm. You're broken. You're educated. But to be educated and to be unhealed is the most dangerous thing any person, I don't care black or white, different man or woman, transgender, I don't care. That is the most ignorant place you can ever be because your education can never heal you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It just gives you a weapon to be a force of hell in people's lives, especially if you're dealing with people. Yep. So I think that God snatched me and sent me to Texas and sat me down because I had some stuff to deal with. Mm-hmm. My relationship with my mother still to this day. For my own healthy reasons, I have no relationship with my mother. But God still needed me to heal from that because what I did not want to do is be bleeding on my family because of my lack of relationship with my mother, because of my desire to have a better relationship with my father or to have a better relationship with my kid's father or my ex-husband. Like, God said, no, you're not bleeding on my people. And you ain't going to bleed on my people in the name of me because that ain't me. Yeah. But I was able to see that about myself. Everybody don't do that work, and everybody ain't blessed enough to have that as an opportunity, and everybody ain't bold enough to do it. You got to be a bold, crazy, ignorant somebody.
Because you got to admit that you effed up. That's the hardest thing, to look in the mirror and say, Paige, you wild as hell right now. You know what I mean?
You out here buck.
You take a lot.
You bucking.
You know what I mean? Bucking.
You
buck.
bucking. You out here bucking in the streets.
Crime
And you need to like bring it all the way back, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I now have an 8-year-old who ain't got no problem. Who be like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
No, Mom, you got chill.
Like that.
No.
What is this? Why are we doing this? And then it's like, oh, okay. Here you are
Bring
checking
it
me
back.
again. Let me
Yeah.
bring it back.
Bring it in.
Yeah, you got to be a special somebody. And I tell people all the time, I don't think I was supposed to build family rise together.
Mm.
I don't think I was the person to do it. I think God told several men before me to do this in Duluth. I really do. I think that I really think they got scared. They either said no, because here's the thing. What is it about me that's special enough to do this? In my lifetime, I've had not one healthy, strong relationship with men to be the person to do this. I would probably be the most riskiest of God kids to do this because of my broken relationships with men, starting with my own father. So why me?
But that's probably why. You know this. That's
I think
why.
that's what you was
Yeah,
getting into,
she know that.
You
She.
know,
This
throw
why.
something.
But I don't be playing with
This
you.
is
Like,
off the back, man.
well, look, I'm gonna throw it, bring it back to me.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
to start out with, like when I started, I'm like, I'm not. This is what I said to God. Like, wait a minute, I don't even like these people. Like, I'm not getting no help with these kids.
That one phrase, bro. Listen, the one phrase I don't even is the wildest phrase because we work, like you said, we work with youth, we work with parents. I'd be like, bro, I don't even like their dad or their mom right now, but I know for a fact that we're probably the only people around here that are not that can, because there's other people that can that just won't, but that are willing to do it. You know what I mean? And that's that's what you were saying too. It's like there's a lot of people who could have did this.
They should have did it.
They should have. But were they the right people at that time? Probably not. You know what I mean? And that's why we are in the predicaments that we are. And then, shit, we far from perfect. I can tell you that right now. We still wilding.
Right.
Like, trust me, we be wilding out here.
But
But when it comes to being able to understand and connect and build relationships and point people in the directions where they can grow, where they can heal from the things that have been holding them back, we've went through exactly what was needed and still going through the things that are needed to help people get to a point of their own, victories and success, and I think that's what makes this job so amazing and enjoyable, is that you got somebody who's broken, us, and still have places to heal, but we are helping people that are broken heal. It's like, dang, that's a humbling thing.
It's very humbling
to think about, and it's cool. It's cool. It really is. It's dope.
I still believe some man was supposed to do this though. I do. I still believe it. I still believe.
Is it dying?
Yeah, it just powered up.
Yeah, I do want to say this last thing. As long as
we got these.
Don't worry about that, y'all. We got it. Imagine this, and I'm going off of what you were saying earlier. Is imagine a man trying to build an organization and create a system for men to succeed. Especially in the world that we live in, the systems that we are fighting against. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think it had to be a woman who's experienced what you experience in order to get things in place for men. Because as men, we cry for each other all the time. What does that get us?
But at the same time, as men, we hear that and be like, fuck.
Yeah, it's fuck, yeah. Bro, like, I'm going through it, bro. Pick yourself up.
Yeah, like,
we ain't soft enough for that. You know what I mean? And that's why we got people like Yvonne that work for us, and we got Tories, because they know when Paz show up, oh, let's rock. We go.
Right.
When Vaughn and them show up, or Tory and them show up, all right, it's soft spoken. They can level now, and they can. I ain't trying to have that conversation. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, you should already know this.
The whole time.
Yeah, but how I'm not that person to really bring that out of you, and that's how I think that as a woman you come in, and to speak not only to the men but to the system part of it.
Right.
Of I am a mother that went through these things with men, with my children, so I can be somebody that can speak into these men and help get them, to a point with your help, of, triumph and victory and, building a family aspect again. So, yeah, I think whether you believe you were supposed to be or not, I think you were exactly.
I think that now today I can say I did the work because I know I'm a seed planter, right? There's some people who are seed planters. There's some harvesters. There's somebody who comes along and water, and I'm the seed planter. I love that part.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I do startup with businesses. I love the startup part of it, right? But I'm blessed enough that I have built a team where I know for a fact I hear 10 years. In 10 years, God's going to have me hand this over to a man. Because I have done the foundational work to say, these are the pieces. Because again, as a woman, there's still a gap. Right? And which is why I'm intentional about having an all-male black board. Right? Which is why I'm intentional about hiring men to do the work. Which is why, you know what I mean? I'm intentional about certain things. Because at the end of the day, I want to set a foundation for the man who is supposed to do this. Because our society is not getting easier. The men who are getting out of prison are that much more broken. And I always say this, it's been my saying from the start, I represent the problem. I am a mother. I am a child protection social worker. I am successful.
That's wild. Keep going. That's wild though. Like, I'm just throwing that together too. Like you said, you represent the problem itself.
I am the
That's
if
crazy.
somebody look at anybody who if and I don't walk around with my accolades on my back. There's a reason why I could walk around here looking good all day, every day. I got some of the best clothes. But there's a reason why I don't. Because when I was a social worker, I went into a home and a mom, a black woman, said, "You coming up in here with your fancy ass clothes, how am I supposed to trust you?" The next day I switched to leggings and sweatshirts, and I've been doing it like that for 20 years. Because before looking good, I want to build trust. You see what I'm saying? And so I always keep near and dear the front part of my brain. I am the problem. I represent the problem. No matter how much good intentions I have, I represent the problem, and I always stay humble in that, regardless of my good intentions of showing up, doing well. And so in building this, the one thing I do is I feed the men that I work with, and I feed them well, intentionally, because while I represent the problem, I have to believe that I also represent the solution. So that brokenness with their mother, the brokenness with their baby mamas, I need to bring some good, and food is what I do.
No, look, I appreciate this. It's been a real good.
You gotta come back, part two.
Part two.
Invite my kids back.
I'm starting with
tell
the
a story.
oldest, going to the top. I do want to hit this before you leave. You have a Juneteenth event coming up.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? Dates, times, what's going on, how to get involved?
Yes.
With it, location.
Yes. So listen, y'all. Okay, first of all, we have the Twin Porch Juneteenth event, which is June 15th at the Harrison Community Center in Lincoln Park from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. June 14th, we actually have the center for volunteers to come in because it's getting so big that we actually have to start setting up the day before so that we're not so burnt out the day of. But more importantly, but equally important, we have June 8th, a Twin Porch Juneteenth beauty pageant that we have for our black girls in the community, biracial and black, but you have to have some African descendant because it is connected to Juneteenth. That is June 8th. You can get connected with us via email with Brittany, my amazing outreach coordinator who is supporting all of the craziness that I'm building. That is a private event, so only those who are registered and their relatives will be invited. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but all around the community, we have billboards up of our girls from last year, and that is very intentional because black girls in our community are often only seen on billboards as clients, not beauty in their body. And so this year's theme is beauty, positive beauty on the black body. So yes, volunteers, we need you. We need you.
Get out there, sign up.
We need you. Like, we have volunteers coming in from the cities.
Oh.
That's how bad we need volunteers. So we could take financial donations. Our goal is always to feed people well. So I get food shipped in from Illinois. We get food from Restaurant Depot. Like, we need more money, more volunteers. Cash App, plug it. Yes, go on our website, not Cash App, but go on our website and hit that, because my financial manager will drive me crazy if I had to report that.
In the description below.
Yes,
we had
please.
dropped the flyers and all that
Yes,
in here.
please.
So if y'all can get out and help and even be a part of, we love it. I know Shaquana and their team would appreciate it.
We would. Oh, we also have a bus this year.
So I did see that.
Yeah, so we do have a bus. So because it's the Twin Ports Juneteenth event, we are busing people from Superior and Morgan Park. So
Okay.
we have a Voyager bus that'll go. We have stops that's happening. I don't know the exact hour, but if you need transportation, please, please, please don't be afraid to get on a bus. It will be safe. We will have volunteers, but you cannot just send your kids on a bus. A child must be accompanied by an adult. An adult is not a 16-year-old kid.
There won't be no
It has
fighting
to
on that
be-
Voyager
Yeah,
bus.
no, it won't be, because what you don't want to do is meet Shaquana.
Mhm.
Okay, we like
Not
Miss
God's
Jones,
child.
not God's child.
And not even Pam's daughter. Listen, I'm trying to warn y'all. So
I mean, try, Lord. But yes, thank you guys so much. for
no,
having me
thank you.
on.
We appreciate it. And we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.